You are entering into a time of profound quickening and transformation. This is the final surrender of the ego into essence and the arms of the divine self. Have you come to the edge of what you have known yourself to be? Kau'ak beckons you to step into a fire that changes every level of your being, even the underlying structures of your life. Step into the unknown. Your metamorphosis has begun. Aloha and welcome to Moana's Divine Readings. I'm Moana, and this is a general reading. I do a Hawaiian reading, as well as I start off with the Mayan Oracle deck. That's this deck right here, the Mayan Oracle deck. And we start off with these guys, and then we go into the tarot section. So there's like three parts. There's the Mayan Oracle, the tarot, and then we lead into the Mudra section, which is a continuation of the Mayan, which kind of embraces the energies and brings in the energies that we want in order to balance out, any of the energies that are not working with us. I usually stray away from the terms of negative and all that, because everything is in its complete self, and that's the whole universe. The universe is made up of both negative and positive energies, electrons and protons, if you will, and all that kind of good stuff. So, and that's what makes a complete wholeness, and we are in complete being. And so I always take that perspective in my readings. Just a couple of things. They are general. I'm sorry for those who like the zodiac. I have not delved into the zodiac signs, specific zodiac signs. It's a collective. So basically it's for those who feel to be here and hear the message. This is a universal message, so it is from the universe. So it's for anybody who is called to be here today. And so if you're filled to be here, then you are in the right place. This message is for you from the universe. And these cards work. The Mayans, as we know with the Mayans, very, very much into astrology and astronomy. They are one of the masters of the stars, and cycles, the Mayan calendar and everything. And also, with that being said, because it's also collective, it's also there for general reading. So take what resonates and then just leave what doesn't resonate. All right, and with that, we will begin. I have shuffled the cards. I just to save time, because my readings do get kind of lengthy, and sometimes that doesn't really attract everybody. So I just kind of have these cards set up already because they take a while. So I do meditate and I prayer. In Hawaiian, a prayer is pule, and I do that all before I set the cards out. So they have been shuffled and prayed over, and then set up. Also, one thing I like to give recognition is to these beautiful Hawaiian cards. Usually I choose one, but the energies are high right now, and so a lot have been coming out. So these are the Hawaiian Healing Intention cards, and I love to use them. They really do bring about good energy, and as you can see there, they're by Donna Elizabeth Jason. She does run a retreat center with, I believe, a significant other partner there. In Hawaii, they do Sacred Lomi Lomi, as well as I do Lomi Lomi, but I'm in Canada. But they are actually on the islands of Hawaii. So she came up with these cards as part of her healing, and I really love to incorporate them with my readings. All right, and we shall begin. So I read from an excerpt from the book, that the Mayan Oracle book, and that was speaking about Kau'ak. Kau'ak is really significant for what's going on around us right now, and also I'd like to I almost feel like saying a happy birthday to everybody. It's Cancer season. Cancer's been talked about all over. I almost feel famous because I'm a Cancer myself. So just being Cancer almost makes me feel famous because it's so talked about. And my birthday is when the new moon solar eclipse happens on the 2nd of July. Happy birthday to me. I just love it when I get gifts from the universe. So this reading is very significant to me, but it also really, I'm never amazed at the cards that come out because they really speak to the energies that are going around. Kuak, he's the star glyph, the Mayan star glyph. So the Mayans have about 20 star glyphs. They do have other symbols, but they have 20 main ones that kind of go into one of the calendars. They have kind of like 2 main calendars, and this goes into one of them. And there's about 20 main ones. And this one he speaks about the storm. He represents the storm, which is all about fire and water. So if we think of a storm, we think of a lightning and also rain. So he's the storm, and there is wind in there, and there's everything. So this is talking about the energies of what's going on with all of these planets in retrograde. We have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune. Let's see, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter. And coming in to join them in about a week is Mercury, which joins those 4 planets into retrograde on the 7th. So wow. And then plus on the 2nd we have the solar eclipse, the new moon solar eclipse. So wow, a lot of going on. And that's the storm that we're feeling right now. This is the energy we're feeling right now, is the storm. And so a lot of things kind of like rising up from the surface. But I would like to say, kind of like a happy birthday feeling to everybody, because when we have these storms come up, they just kind of like, the storm comes in and it just kind of uproots everything, right? So a lot of stuff is coming up. A lot of energies are coming at us from different angles, and that's kind of like the chaos. If we look over here, there's a little bit of chaos, and we had a little planet here, and so this chaos is coming in to bring about this new birth, this new change. And Kuak, he talks about that. He talks about the new birth coming in. But with the energies of Kuak also comes in, we talk about with the star glyphs, each have what we call a shadow wisdom, which is the kind of those energies that kind of uproot ourselves, right? They kind of shake us up and question our own, self validity. So basically it brings up all those insecurities, or brings up all those fears that are resurfacing, and now, questioning ourselves. Am I going to make it? And we're going to talk a bit about that when we come into the Mayan deck over here, the Xultún Mayan deck. And we're going to talk about that, about the physical things that we're feeling. But as for the celestial energies that are coming in, so all this uprooting, the storm. So shadow wisdom represents all the insecurities. So Kuak, for our shadow wisdom, he brings about that denial, almost like one of my favorite people that talks about astrology is Sky. His name's Sky, and he's I'm trying to remember his I can't remember his channel, but I will remember to put that down in the description area there. And anyways, he's talking about, denials, and one of the things denial can become from that paranoia. When we feel like, when we feel wavery, and our energies feel wavery, and we're not solid in ourselves. So we kind of bring about that denial, and that can bring about, that can come from like, a bit of the paranoia of, like, oh no, that's not real. I'm definitely not going to look at that at all. So we have this denial, fear of unknown. Okay, so a lot of the fear of unknown, issues of addiction, strong feelings of despair or separation from the source, the divine. judging your physical transformational process. And that's what's going on. So the storm is purely representative of this transformational process. Feelings of futility, being futile, and despair. Okay, so that inferior feeling, that inferior feeling that we're getting is coming because the energies are so strong. But the energies are not, coming in to kind of make us feel inferior. They're coming in. And that's why I get this feeling to say happy birthday to everybody, because it's coming in to bring this newborn. So we have to strip us down, right to the bare nudity, right to that nakedness, strip us down, and then, rebirth, right? So everything uprooting, so we can just let go. I say, let the wind from the storm just take all that stuff, let it uproot and take it away. So anything that's not serving us, so any of those things, those feelings that are coming up of impurity, negativity that is not serving us, that's anything that is to break us down, we're to let it go. Let the storm is here to take it away. Now, it's a powerful force. And that's why it brings all these things up. So it'll definitely show us, and that's a good thing, it'll definitely show us where we questioning our own groundedness, our own stability, where we stand in our lives at the moment. And so it's a rebirth. And when we can see that, then we say, okay, I don't need to feel that way. I'm just going to give it to the storm and let it go. And this is where we have the number 2. So Mayans were very, very big, of course, astrology, numerology, and all that. So all this is very significant. We have 2. 2 represents duality, right? It represents that duality, but it also represents balance. So we're having to, and that's what's kind of hard right now. And that's why, like, a lot of us may, with the energies, we may be feeling like, I don't know what direction to go into. I don't know what to do. And it's okay. It's not, this 2 right here is not really indicating a decision has to be made, except for only one of that is what is truth of the path you're going to follow in your next step. So we have a rebirthing going on. So basically, we have passed a lot of death, and we're in the form, like, after death comes birth. And so we're coming into the era now where we're beginning this new life, we're beginning this new era. We may become a source of being of ourselves that we have never met before, because we're coming into this newness, we're becoming someone we're not. And that's that spiritual growth. That is coming into our higher being, our higher self. So it's like, introduce yourself to yourself, but enjoy. It is a time to celebrate. Even though we may not be able to see where the path is going yet, it is coming. But we're not seeing it because we're in the transformation. And that's what this is. This what's going on, the storm of energies. The planets are in retrograde. The solar is the sun is in an eclipse. It's in between the Earth and the moon, and so it's really a powerful time, and it's that time where everything actually stops to reverse in order to realign. And that's what's happening with ourselves. Everything is being broken down because we're realigning with ourselves. And that's what happens to ourselves every time we gain new cells, and we're growing, we're going into, a new era of our lives. The cells will take and they'll like kind of combust and they'll break. Right? It's called, that cell lysis. And so they break down, but then they kind of like restructure and rebuild. And so that's what's happening. Sometimes, the universe will kind of go in reverse in order for it to realign. And we need that energy. Sometimes we need the energy to take a step back before we take that step forward into our new cycle. Right? This is a whole new life. It's like a life that we have never lived before. So with the Mayan or the Xultún Mayan tarot cards, we have the energies that are here and the energy that's arriving. So we have the Five of Pentacles and we have the tarot moment. Okay, so I don't need to explain the tarot. The tarot is obviously, that's the energy we're feeling. That's the storm we're feeling. This is like everybody's falling out, and I think they're naked. In our nakedness, I mean, you know, the universe is waking us up and throwing us out the window. It's not even waiting for us to get dressed. You don't need the clothes right now. You're just going to fall. Because we're going to pick you up into a whole new path, a whole new cycle. Everything is time for new. So the Five of Pentacles talks about this it talks about what we're feeling. So basically what we're seeing, what we're being aware of. So being earthly beings. All right. All right, so that's talking about how we're feeling here, what we're seeing. So we're seeing like questions about money, about not having enough, question about like just not having enough in general. But that's what it just speaks about what we're seeing. That's not necessarily truth. Remember, so a lot of like eclipses and all that. So there is a lot of like kind of illusion going on. So this is what we're seeing. This is what the energies are possibly making some of us feel. Maybe not for all of us, but for some of us. Having this feeling of, okay, I'm really having, you know, the questions about money and my finances and being able to make it for the next, week or month or so. Okay, so talking about, what we're seeing, not having enough of the money, finances, resources, to make it what we need to be able to sustain our lifestyle and going on. And so changing that perspective, turning that around into like there is enough. And what I'm losing, if you're seeing anything that you're losing, I'm losing this for my own divine good. These are actually things I don't need anymore. So really taking a look at that. And that's this Tower moment, right? Everything being stripped away and losing that. And so when that happens, when we can let go. So this duality here is all about, are we going to let go of the things we do not need? Or are we going to try to hold on and save the things? When the storm tries to take it away, are we going to try to hold on and save it? Or are we going to let go and trust in the divine? So it's all about really having that trust. And that's the Tower moment. The Tower moment is really, it really talks to our core of ourselves. Am I really stable in my own self that I can have trust, faith, and this storm is going to take away what needs to be taken away. And I'm not losing anything. I'm actually gaining. Because then, after the storm, the sun comes out. And the sun brings up all the new flowers, all that new growth, all the new beautiful birds and bees and animals and insects that come out to just enjoy life. And the sun, so in Egypt, the sun, and in the Mayan as well, in Egypt, the sun is known as Ra. That's the sun. He's the god that is all about creation. So he creates everything, and everything comes from the universe. So to have that trust and knowing. And the four here is the four. This is like the magician card, having everything that we need because it's also being given from the universe. So in other words, the universe ain't playing. So it's not going to just give you anything and throw at everything. It's going to give you what you need. And then there's always going to be abundance in that. And that's what comes through in the Hawaiian card. So we have the Pono card here. And the Pono is all about to be right with. And that's all about just being right. And that's part of our healing, is to be right with this, be okay. And that's the faith, to know that even though I'm being shaken to my core, I know that I'm okay. I have that faith. It feels like I'm not in some case for some of us. I know I feel that way, but it feels like I'm not. But however, I know I am. This is a new birth. I'm being reborn. And that's why I say happy birthday. And it's to be right with this transformation. We're going through a transformation. And that is what's shaking us up to our core. But it's shaking us up so things can fall away that we don't need. And it's to be right with that, because we know who we are. And then once we stand still in ourselves and we know we love ourselves, and that's going to bring us to this card in a minute. When we love ourselves, we're at peace with ourselves, and we're whole with ourselves, we're standing in ourselves. That's that yellow, a lot of yellow solar plexus chakras coming up. So the solar plexus chakra, that yellow, we're coming into our being. We're coming into who we really are. And that solar plexus chakra talks about the confidence, standing in who we are, standing in our power. And then once we unite with ourselves in that way, as a whole being, then we have the Ihaleakala. Ihaleakala is victory and triumph. So we have the victory, because that's what victory is. The victory is that we survive, not just like, okay, I'm still alive. We know we're going to survive, but that I survived with power. I survived coming into where the universe wanted me to come into, right? I'm coming into my being. I'm coming into my divine self, and I'm stepping into that. Because I trusted, and I followed about my intuition. That was the other thing, is always follow the intuition, because the universe and you, when you connect, you're one. So the messages are going to be the same. Your intuitive self. You're going to be intuitively, divinely guided. And that's when we have victory and triumph, because we knew, even though we're stepping in and it seems like we didn't know where we're going, we knew where to step, if that makes sense. And that's where we get victory. And then with victory and stepping into who we are and following our intuition and following the divine where it wants us to go, because it knows where we need to go, then we come into abundance. That's the Vai. Fortune and value and wealth. So I'm just going to read quickly from the card Pono, because it kind of says everything that we want. By choosing to live in integrity, with yourself, your family, friends, living space, work, and the ecosystem of the planet, you cultivate true alignment with your life, living honestly and from your core values, which will allow you to be more effective and less stressed in all of your endeavors. So stepping into who you truly are. So the intention, these are also intention cards. My intention is to live in alignment with my core values and to cultivate honesty and integrity in all of my relationships. And that includes the relationship with ourselves. And that brings us to our beautiful, the Crystal Wisdom Healing Oracle. And it was really interesting. This one just fell out. They always fall out. I don't know if you can see it there. And it's soulmate. And if you can kind of see it, it's two stones and they're kind of combined together in unity. And that's really interesting. If there's ever a time for soulmate union, it's now, right? We can really feel that, all that, and everybody like talking about it. But what's significant about soulmate union is this, and here's the two as well. So a lot of us are probably stepping into our soulmate union, not necessarily everybody. Some of us may already be in that relationship. Some of us may be coming into it. Some of us may, kind of be almost into it. We know they might know each other, but we're stepping into it. However, but the thing is, significant about soulmate union is all about loving ourselves first. All about this Pono. To be right with who you are, to be right with yourself. So first, to become whole, because that's what soulmate union is all about, is this oneness, when the two become one. But before we can step into that soulmate union, because it's significant, if that's the only one that is meant for our beings, let's say, forever and ever, then we want to make sure that we are whole first. And they also want to be whole first. and then coming together. So this energy is coming out so strong, which is really interesting because it's coming up out of the soul, now out of the storm. But it may, yeah, it might be coming out of, it's also, yeah, it's bringing it out of our soul, right? It's really reviving our souls, isn't it? It's growing our souls. So this soulmate union is coming in now. Maybe not for all of us, it means like a romance, but it really means significantly. And we talked about our relationships, Pono. We talked about the relationships with everything. So first, the relationship with ourselves. First, the relationship with divine intervention, with the divine universe, and then the relationship with others. And but we want to always step into that whole, because it's about our spiritual growth and the love. Before we can give our love to someone else, we have to give it to ourselves. All right. So I'm going to leave the Mayan reading there, and if you're happy with that message, stepping into your oneness, stepping into yourself, and just remember, when things are shaking, it's all good. This is all good, and we just remind ourselves it's for my divine, it's for my divine power, it's for my divine goodness, it's for my divine good, and that the universe always has my back and always wants the best for me. So we're going to leave the Mayan part of the reading at that message, and then we're going to go into the tarot. If you choose to join us into the tarot, that is awesome. Sometimes I'll watch a long reading, half now, half later, however you chose to do that. And if you don't, just a lot of love and light, and aloha to you, and hopefully we'll see you in the tarot portion. All right, aloha. Aloha, and welcome back to the tarot portion. For the tarot, I will shuffle the cards. And I'm actually really excited. I have the Druid Craft Tarot today. They're a new deck for me, and I just love them. Yeah, they really speak loudly. The messages come really strong. So, and then of course times like this, they come out really strong. Okay, so I will explain the position for those who haven't seen my readings. It's only my 4th reading on YouTube. I've been doing readings since I was 11. I'm gonna move that over there. And for those who are new, I'm adding a slightly new element to this as well. Okay. So energies are really strong, so we're having a lot of cards really want to speak. So this is going to be our overall energy, and look at that. What are we talking about? Ace of Pentacles. So if you're concerned about anything that has to do with resources, like finances, or anything like that for surviving or upkeeping your lifestyle. If you're worried about, there's the divine message right there. You have nothing to worry about. Look at that Ace of Pentacles. And I actually have been having that card come up a lot, and I love that card. It's beautiful. And these cards are so gorgeous. I just love them. And so that's that's the overall energy there. I was kind of shuffling these. I was just shuffling them, getting them ready. I was going to shuffle in front of the camera, but this guy really fell out, and that's the magical map shifter. And this is from the Enchanted Map Oracle deck, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's a beautiful deck. And that card, when it just fell out, it was just perfect. And the message is all about what we just talked about with the Mayan Oracle. And it talks about all about, the mission of being yourself. So you start off with being who you are, and that's your first mission, is to step into who you are. And sometimes when we go through life and society and an institutionalization, not institutionalized, but when we go to school and that, we're being raised with societies, and we're being raised with all these others definitions of how a person should be. And it really sometimes, a lot of times, it takes us away from our who we really are, and what really, in retrospect, how we need to be. And we learn about all these other ways of like interacting and social interactions and everything like that, like all these rules and everything. Well, I mean, if we go to our core, to our heart, if we go to who we really are, I mean, we don't need all these rules, because we will always come out of love, because we are created from love. So it talks about that, and that's our mission. It's to know who we are, and then walk in that light of ourselves. Okay, to make you aware of the people who come in, and not just the people, but this card also talks about making you aware of not just the people, but all the circumstances and experience that come into our life, and that impact our personal growth. So everything is a lesson. So if this is like some kind of something impacting me in a negative way, then I mean, it's okay, because it's that lesson showing me, okay, this is what does not serve me. I'm letting it go. So and this is what works with my core. We talked about core values with the Pono. This works with my core value. This upholds my core values. I'm sticking with this. Everything that uplifts you. And so perhaps, and then it talks about like meeting a soulmate. So because our soulmate also resonates with ourselves. Now we have soulmates and twin flames. So is this a soulmate? Is this a karmic? Is this person in my life for just this period of time? Because sometimes, I mean, when we fall, and we should love everybody that come into our lives, and we should be thankful for that, because without them, we wouldn't have grown. Bad or good, we wouldn't have grown. I mean, I'm not saying don't ever let somebody abuse you, but I'm just talking about, like when we learn lessons from people. And, and then is this the twin flame? Is this the person I'm meant for? And normally that twin flame comes in at the end. We go through our lessons first. And it talks about inviting to be the best you. So stepping in your power, the best side of yourself, becoming the best of who you are, and always being the best of who you are. And which circumstances and which people in your lives. We talked about relationships as well, right? The relationships, all relationships. So which circumstances, which people, help you to step into your being, to be your best self. And that's usually when the twin flame, the twin flame is the one that wants us to be our best selves, and that person helps us to step into our best self, because we want to be our best self when we unite. The magical map shifter always initiates you into a better version of yourself. So yeah, using all these lessons, karmic lessons. All right, so yes, talking about the magical map shifter. So basically, using this time, all our circumstances, all the interventions, experiences, relationships with ourselves, our universe, our environment, and relationship with others, and using all those experiences to step us forward, to step us into a better version of ourselves. And sometimes that's hard, not an easy process, when things seem like they're working against us. But as you know, he's got almost like the wheel of fortune. Things are moving. Things, it's like a whirlwind. It almost looks like a storm. So yeah, the storm, but things are in a whirlwind. They're in chaos, but they're like order. There's order in that chaos. But it's just because everything is at his grasp. He has the universe. So he's blindfolded, as you can see. So that's that stepping into faith. We also talked about in the if you wanted to, you know more what I'm talking about, we go watch the Mayan Oracle reading if you haven't. But we talked about that, you know, I didn't say blind faith, but basically that blind faith, stepping into that path, even though you can't see where you're going, but having that faith in the universe has got your back. The universe is guiding you in the right direction, and it's always guiding you for your divine self. So overall energy for the tarot reading is the Ace of Pentacles. All right, so what we have, and I'm just going to put that here. What we have okay, so how, oops, yeah, that's the higher self. I need, sorry, one more card. Just got to get one more card because there should be the, I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to put this card, sorry, this should be crossing this card. All right. Boy, yeah, all this whirlwind of storm, I can't even count. Okay. So basically basically the spread is a Hawaiian spread. Well, it's a spread based on the Hawaiian 3 cells, if people are familiar with the Hawaiians. If you're not, basically the Hawaiians talk about the 3 selves, or there's the 3 hearts, and there's always like the lower self, which is the bottom card here. There's one card under below this one. That's the lower self. So that's basically like our ego self, our raw nature self, you know, our survival self. And then there's the middle self. This is a reasoning self. This is the self that kind of reasons, you know, is our reasoning, it's our manifested self here on the earth. And then here's the divine self. This is the top one. And the divine self is that, is our self that, it's basically, it's where the universe is kind of gently guiding us into, is becoming this divine self. It's our divine self without ego and without any of that fun stuff, insecurities and all that fun stuff. I mean, it is fun, right? Okay, maybe not. All right, so I always start with the middle self because it's the one in the middle, and this is where we're at right now. And so the Pharaoh, and this is the Druid, and that's the Temperance card. She represents the Temperance card, which is really significant right now. Temperance is also Sagittarian, and which is very interesting because coming up to the full moon, I mean, sorry, not the full moon, the new moon, sorry, coming into the new moon on the 2nd of July, that's a Gemini new moon. And so that's the opposite energies of Sagittarius. So here we talked about our duality. So duality is also balance. Okay, so balance and completion. So we're looking at Gemini and Sagittarian energies as reflection of each other, balancing those energies. So and which is very interesting because Gemini is also the twins, also speaks about a lot of 2s and everything. So Temperance, so coming through here, so your being is also feeling, along with the storm, we're also feeling this energy of this need of not just, well, Temperance talks a lot about being patient and everything, but it also is more like when I feel like a need to act in patience, kind of it just kind of brings to my mind, well, this act in need of kind of being in calmer energies of myself, sitting with myself a little calmer. If we look at her, the beautiful lady maiden, she's just kind of tending to kind of like the mundane thing. I mean, she has this magical thing brewing, and that's just, you know, so it is a lot of magical kind of energies because it's a lot of unknown coming in because it's a lot of newness. So it's kind of like this new brew kind of brewing, that alchemy, that's kind of be all this creation that's coming up. But with that on the sideline, see, that's kind of more on the side. And she's over there, she's kind of tending to the mundane thing. So now is the time for simplicity. So just kind of tend to what you know. Tend to the things that make you feel stable. And it's that calmness. Tend to things that bring you both joy and calming to your energies. And you're feeling that need. And it's really important because with the storm, we don't want to contribute to the storm energy, right? Because that's the universe kicking in. So we're going to allow the universe kick in and do what it needs to do, but we are going to say, okay, so we're just going to tend to the things that are in front of us right now. So just tend to things that are in front. Tend to the things that need to be tended to or taken care of. Just and just the simple things. Just tend to those things and things that bring you both joy and that stability. So really important. So and you're feeling that need, so follow that. Remember, it's also, we can have with temperance too, we can also talk about intuition. So really follow the needs that are coming up within you, not the shaky stuff, the stuff that say, okay, I have a feeling to just I want to go and have a hot bubble bath tonight and just relax, and so things like that. Just simple, mundane tending, and just allow until the storm passes and things to become clear again. And she's being who she is. She's stepping into that. So from this position, we go into the lower self, because that speaks a lot to us. And the lower self, and we have justice. Okay, well, there's a card of Libra again. Wow, a lot of this. Now, justice, so with that balance, that two energy, so we have that two energy of how I was saying in the Mayan Oracle reading earlier, not the energy of two as duality, right? But the balance, here it is, right? Balance. So again, balancing the energies. We have the storm coming in, so we have this feeling of need of just being calm and just inner joy. It doesn't have to be anything exciting. I mean, if you really have that feeling, listen, I've been working my butt off and I really need to go out and have a good time. I mean, whatever serves you. But in some cases, joy could be just, I just want to tend to my garden and, grow those plants. And I have these beautiful, fresh, organic plants that I can, really eat and, tending to my health. But in simple, we it's not energy right now to start something new, because new is grown, but it hasn't really come up. It hasn't grown out of this. The seed hasn't, risen out of the ground yet, if you will. So things are not clear yet. So they haven't really clarified themselves yet. They haven't really become present yet. So we just want to tend to what's in front of us and joy. If you need to go out, have fun. Don't go too crazy, because remember, we have the storm energy, so we can get carried away. So remember, there's also that energy with Kwak, the shadow wisdom was a bit of addiction and all that. So we don't want to get carried away. Addiction is about carrying away, so we don't get carried away, but do something that brings you joy. Keep it simple and balance the energies of the storm, so nice and peaceful. And look, he's looking very peaceful there. So yeah. Oh, is that okay? I thought I saw a cup on his head, but it's this. You say, yeah, love. Balance yourself with love as well. That's also coming through, a lot of love energy as well. So this top card, this top position, is your higher self. This is the higher self speaking, and it's the Six of Wands. So wow, victory. We had victory come out. If you didn't see the Mayan Oracle reading, we had victory come out with the Hawaiian cards, and that's the Ihaleakala. And the victory, and what's beautiful, because we're talking about your soul being, right? The Hawaiian, the three selves is all about you aligning yourselves as one. And then that's this energy here, is when all three align, then we have that overall complete energy that comes forth. And this is victory right here. So we have victory twice in Hawaiian and also in our reading right here. And so that's the higher self. The higher self, just keep doing just stepping into who you are. And sometimes we, you know, I mentioned in the Mayan Oracle, even in universe, like we have 4 planets in retrograde. Mercury's about to join them as a 5th planet in retrograde. 5 planets going into retrograde. 4 already, 1 going into, and even the universe knows, you know, that divine secret knowledge that sometimes I got to go backwards a little bit, not too much, not all the way, but sometimes I got to take a step back before I go forward. And this is what this is, stepping back to the basics. Okay, maybe life has been exciting. I know it's been exciting for a lot of us. We've all gone through a lot of tower moments in the last couple of years. I know for me it's been the last 10 years. and so I've had a lot of enough excitement for a while. I'm embracing this. I'm loving this. And sometimes, you know, by stepping back to the basics, that simpleness, you know, it brings us so much more joy. And that's what's going to bring us victory, because it's all about clearing out, right? Clearing out, getting rid of everything around us. And sometimes we can't really see what is right in front of us or what we are when we have all this distraction. So it's getting rid of all the unnecessary distraction. I mean, so we have the tower moment, which we may have this feeling of loss because we're still like looking at these things as things we need. But the universe is saying, I'm showing you this is not. And you're going to see, just trust, have this blind faith. And if, well, her eyes look like they're covered. But, right, have this blind faith. When you have this blind faith and you trust in me, because I know I have your highest good at hand. And I'm bringing you your highest good. When you trust, you'll see that after the storm, you're going to see not only that this didn't serve you, but what I'm bringing to you, which I need you to let go of this old in order for me to bring you this new. And it could be a new love. We had a soulmate stone. I didn't even know there was a soulmate stone until the stone card showed me. But and there is soulmate energy here. So we are bringing you this, but we can't bring you this until you let go of the old, because it's all about, you know, if we're stepping into a twin flame soulmate, or that next connection, that higher love, that higher level love, then we want to be in that first, in ourselves as whole and pure before we step into that with this divine love. So this is the card, and it's a Princess of Swords. Now, of course, being a general reading, it's not about like gender specific or anything like that. It's not about male or female. It's about the energy. So even we all have a balance. Again, completeness. All of us, male or female, we all have both male and feminine energies that we need to embrace to make a whole self. Now, Princess of Sword is of all the court cards for the swords, or yeah, for the sword. I mean, of all the court cards, the swords of the princess. The swords, I would say, is the most masculine energy because it's that of the mind, right? So it's the most of the mind. So, and of course, Princess of Swords. Swords is Gemini, and again, we have Libra, Gemini, Libra, and then Aquarian energies. So, not necessarily a person, but it's more like what you're stepping into. So, this. And it's always, when it's at this position in the reading, we're always referring to a higher wisdom. So, and of course, this is a very powerful woman, even though it's a princess. So in this card, she's all about definitely a woman, you know, of all the princesses in the deck or pages, she'd be the most masculine energy. And so Princess is like the Page of Swords. So Page of Swords speaks a lot about like educating. So right now it could be a time of, you know, reflecting, and definitely there's that energy coming in of, you know, gathering information before moving forward, kind of or if there's any, you know, promises or going into anything new, anything you're going to do new. You know, any kind of like, if it's new partnerships or anything you're going to do new, especially if it's on a larger scale. Basically, you want to know who you're dealing with. I mean, not on a paranoid sense, but you know, but you do want to do a little bit of your background research. So yeah, gathering your information, make sure it's what it says it is. So making sure things are what they are, and who, you know, who, anybody new, especially anything new. So because of this transformation, everything's a little shaky. You know, this kind of energy can come up. So, you know, there are going to be people, there is going to be new people coming into your lives right now, because this is the energy. And however, there's going to be those who are who they say they are, and those who will not be who they say they are. So, you know, on a nice, again, everything light, and we can protect ourselves without being, you know, well, the Queen of Swords, you know, you got your sword, you know, you're strong. So your sword is basically you, the solar plexus chakra here, you being who you are. That's going to be your sword, right? That's what your protection is. Also, the sword, you know, also represents, it can represent, you know, that Excalibur, that divine power. But the divine power comes from your true heart, right? It's that true heart, that pure heart, sorry. What was the true heart? That pure heart that can lift the sword out of the rock. So that is the Princess of Swords. And so it's a young energy because it's new. You're almost, and hey, do it. You know, if you're a guy watching, then, you know, become that young prince. And if you're a girl watching, then, you know, hey, girlfriend, go for it. You know, if you're like me, a little on the older side, you know, 40, going, you know, close to the 50, and then, hey, you know, do yourself up new. You know, go and do something new for yourself. You know, buy something, a totally different new outfit. I mean, don't go crazy, you know. You know, be within your resources. But the thing is that do it with joy, and do, you know, become that new younger girl, because age, we all know, age and beauty is definitely not physical. It's definitely that of the heart, and I truly believe that. I truly live that you know, age is what's in your heart. So yeah, be that young girl. You can be young. You be young at heart. Be free. Be, you know, be joyous. Step into your power and just be free, because you don't have anything to worry about, because the universe got it back, and you are strong in who you are. That's that pure heart. And so dealing with people or anything new, entities or anything like that, so it does caution a little bit of just please maybe get a little bit of a background, not necessarily background checks unless you feel you need to. We don't need to get unless you feel you need it, but definitely you know, do a bit of research, you know, gather the information, the right information, and you know, get that truth and facts that show, okay, this is what it is. So, and it is a time, you know, with the sword is also, she's not ready to fight or act with the sword, right? She's not ready to cut anybody or act or anything. And again, with the temperance, so it's not a time of action right now. It's just a time of standing in who you are and knowing who you are. So with that being said, is that this is a time to gather information before we act and do anything, especially if it's new and dealing with new people. So that card kind of, you know, and then of course the wisdom card, right? That, you know, well, and it's Gemini new moon. So here you have Gemini. And then of course Libra, there's your Libra. So there is a lot of air. So definitely that research, and I mean, you don't have to go for hours in the library or anything, but it's basically knowing what the energies are before you actually allow them to have an impact on your life, or before you actually invite them into your life, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so then the energies that are crossing, and we have the Three of Wands. Oh wow, beautiful, Beautiful. And of course, the Three of Wands represent, you know, waiting for the ships to come in. And if we look, it looks like a storm has just passed. So the storm has just passed, and he can see, you know, across the field clearly. In his case, he looks like he's waiting for this delivery truck or something to come through the field. But, you know, basically, you know, that expansion, you know, and so he's, and again, he's just standing and he's waiting, but he knows something is coming, and that's the energy. Something is coming, and it's new, and it's coming. So know that it's here. It's very soon. The storm's going to pass. And actually, speaking about the storm, it's really interesting how all of a sudden it started lightning and thunder outside. So I feel my reading is being blessed by the universe with an actual storm outside. I just wanted to mention that. You might hear some lightning, and I think it's a blessing. On this side, it's going to be, as we're looking, it is the left side. So on this side, this is the energies that we're not seeing. They're contributing, and it's always good. And we have the Princess of Cups. Wow. So as we're talking about soulmate, twin flames, and everything like that, so a new love is coming in. Now, this new love could be your passion, right? So Cups is love. Princess, she's like the Page of Cups. So that also speaks about an offer of love. So somebody is bringing in an offer of love. It could be, you know, if you are already in a relationship, it could be like a new passion of a career or an offer for, you know, this something you've really been wanting your whole life. You have a passion for. In a job or something, and that offer is being revealed to you. Somebody is bringing that, and that also, the Three of Wands is like somebody is bringing it. It also talks about travel and venturing. So maybe some are traveling, but I am getting more like this adventurous. It's an adventurous time, and you are going to step into whole new energies. We have the Ace of Pentacles, so that is commitment, but it's commitment into the new. Just make sure you do your research and you know what you're stepping into is the right thing for you, and it is what it says it is, or they are who they say they are. So make sure it's the right one, because there's going to be a few things, not just one. It's going to be a few things coming in, but you're going to choose. You're going to choose only one. There's everything falling down, like my tower moment. Everything's falling down. So you're going to choose only one thing, okay? But you're going to choose the one that's right for you, because, you know, you got your intuition, you got the universe bringing it in. So just make sure, because all energies, when this, you know, throughout the storm, it brings everything, right? Because it is kind of universal, so everything comes out. But just know, follow your intuition. That's another thing that's going to tell you, you know, what's right for you. So yes, there's something coming that is something you're going to love, somebody you're going to love. It could, if for some of you, it will be a new love. There's definitely new love coming in. Normally my readings speak mostly about the person, but it also speaks about what's coming for that person. So definitely new love. Could be a person, or it could be a new passion. Again, there's a lot of this energy of going back to school. So an opportunity to go, like if you have it, if you had a passion your whole life you wanted to do, and now all of a sudden it's like out of the storm brings up this opportunity, a chance for you to go back to school so you can re-educate yourself. And that the Page of Swords also talks about re-educating, you know, yourself into, you like something new. So it also talks about education. So your passion, something that you're really going to love, is coming into your life, whether it's a person or an opportunity or something, you know, could be moving to a place you wanted to live your whole life that you really love. So something like that. I do feel family also coming in and contributing to all this new energies. So again, but just even with some families and old energies, old friends and stuff, because all this energy retrograde does bring up things from the past. Again, do your research. Make sure this is what they say it is. If somebody hasn't been healthy for you in the past, and they're coming back and say, oh no, I changed. Well, do your research, follow your intuition, and make sure they say what they say they are. I'm getting energy. It's really important right now. And it is really important too, because it is new. So there's going to be things that are true and things that are going to be a little bit like illusionary. So that's where the Queen of Swords is also coming up. But she is also a very powerful woman. And also, if we're talking about any kind of twin flame energy that has come up, then we're also looking at a woman that is also interdependently. So codependent can speak about, if we talk about twin flames that codependent, well, is because they're meant to be together, your mother half. That's all nice and positive. But normally codependent can stand for that addiction, right? And we have to watch for those extreme energies as well, because cautions us about that energies. That's the shadow wisdom is that that addiction and all that. So we want to make sure that we are interdependent and we can still stand alone. And that's what this is all about also, is that solar plexus chakra, coming into who you truly are and being who you are, being confident and just being still in yourself, right? The Temperance, she's always very much who she is, right? She is completely at peace and in wholeness with herself. So that's coming in. So this love, and we're not seeing it. It's something we're not seeing yet. It's coming in, and it's an energy that's also, we can feel it. We're kind of feeling it, but it's kind of like on the surface of things, right? Or below the surface of things. You're kind of feeling it, but it's coming in. So this side, the right side, talks about the energies we are aware of. And Four of Wands. Wow. So we are being aware of, wow. I have to think about that, because the Four of Wands usually follows the Prince of Cups. So, okay. This is good news for a lot of you guys. Because you are being aware of this stability. You are being aware of this change. When we talked about the Five of Pentacles, we're noticing the storm. We're noticing like things falling away from ourselves. Like, things are like, and it's physical means. Like, maybe our vehicle is broken down, or, maybe we're having trouble paying certain bills, getting the notices like, oh, 15 days, cutting off the phone or cutting off the electricity or something. So we're noticing all the things, but that's all happening for our higher good. And so this kind of means, but you guys are in tuning with yourself. This is also celebration. So we talked a bit about celebration. So yeah, it is a time for celebration, and it's a big festivity. So I just mentioned about people coming in and maybe family. So I think some of you are really going to be like family reunions, maybe not necessarily so specifically a family reunion, but maybe in that sort, maybe, an unofficial one, an informal family reunion, just like gathering of people or gathering of friends, maybe a block party, that kind of thing. And, because I also got too that maybe without knowing, you're seeing like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, me and my girlfriends are getting together, and or me and the guys are getting together, my old friends I haven't seen for a while, and we're getting together and celebrating. But what's going to come in with the celebration is this new love is coming in, and that's what we're not seeing. So but we're feeling all this love, right? But it's coming from ourselves. And when we ignite that love within ourselves and build that love within ourselves and for ourselves, then that shines through. And we naturally, the universe brings us in. We don't have to work. We have to work on ourselves. But just strictly by working on ourselves, then this new love comes in. And that's actually, this is really beautiful, because we're not seeing that just by, stepping into our own power and being harmonious and peaceful and joyful with ourselves and loving with ourselves, that we are naturally attracting that soulmate or twin flame or that next level of love coming through, for you, for those that are, you committed, it's going to be that next stage in your life of your communion with your partner, your better half, your other half, however you say, and also, but as a whole, your whole life is being upscaled into the next level. And it comes from love, and it comes from the divine love as well, unconditional love. And you're starting to see this maturation, this maturity of this love building. And this is foundation too. It's very strong, very, very strong. This is like unbreakable foundation. So very awesome, very, very awesome. So, and I was saying earlier, happy birthday, because I think we're all being reborn in this time. And then I had the cards, and at the bottom of the cards, I had the Fool. Ha! The Fool! Yay! This is the ghost cards. I love these cards. Yeah, so the Fool, how perfect. So, of course, it's that, young energy, letting go, living simple, and just being free, and just following the path. Trusting, having that blind faith, that trust in the divine universe, that go with the wind. All right. So, pretty much we leave it here. I think that was a really good reading. Before I do, since there's a lot of love energy, I am going to pick a card from this is the Romance Angels Oracle. Some of you are familiar with this. And just going to pick a card from that. And so this one comes up. Wow. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Okay, we did talk about, people coming up from the past. However, I actually don't like the word reconciliation. That's crazy. I mean, it's a good word to reconcile. But, so, I just, the connotation of reconciliation, just the idea of, I don't know. I just find sometimes it makes me feel like it's something that is forced. With the normal definition of the word. So I like to kind of bring in a new definition for the word reconciliation. And I'm just looking at this. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Now this could be if some of you follow past lives, it could be them past life. It could be like that Six of Cups energy of not coming clear, not coming too clear, but anyway, so the Six of Cups energy, the nostalgicness of thinking about people from the past. So what I'm getting for this card here is this love is healing all old relationships. Now, reconciliation, like for Hawaiian, the Ho'o Pono Pono does not necessarily mean to go physically and actively, one to reconcile, in forgiveness, if you will, or make it right, if you will. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the physical sense and say, oh, well, let's get back together and start physically hanging out, whether it's a friend or an ex, if you will. So for me, this is about divine love, reconciling in the terms of just healing, making things right. We have Pono. And Pono was about choosing to live in integrity with yourself. And my intention is to live in alignment with my core values my core values, and to cultivate honesty and integrity in all of my relationships. So beginning with yourself. So we had this, sense of the Queen of Swords. You're reconciling with yourself. Now, the good news is that's pretty much the hard work, the only hard work you need to do. Because when we reconcile with ourselves and we heal ourselves, to me, that's the definition I want to bring to reconciliation, is healing. And when we do that with ourselves, then we are actually, without intent, we are healing all the relationships with all people we have had relationships with in whatever level that was. Friendships, family, love. But it begins, and see, they're in the clouds. So this is divine love. So we're reconciling with ourselves, and sometimes it starts from our first hurt, and healing those wounds. And that's the good news. You are beginning, actually you're already on the way of the path of healing. And that's why we have Pono, to make it right with yourself, to step into your core values. We have the sun representing the solar plexus chakra. Standing yourself, being confident in who you are, and not afraid to show that to the world. No matter what values the world has taught you, if that's not our values, we're not going by those values. We're going by my own values, my core values, the Pono. And that's stepping in myself. And then that's what's going to bring us the Lanakila, which is the victory of triumph. So that's the triumph, is the reconciliation, is your victory. Because when you heal yourself, then you get victory, and then you get the Vai, which is fortune, value, wealth. This is the abundance card. So that's the Vai. And then we get our abundance. And that's when things begin to change from this feeling of this loss of everything to now I see you, universe. I see everything that is here for me, that the universe is offering, and that's far more than what I had. Now I have even more, and it all comes from this divine love within yourself. So I think that's a good ending there. Enjoy your July. It's going to be amazing, amazing. We may have the storm, but we know after the storm comes the sun. And in the story of the buffalo, he weathers the storm. He'll walk straight, this Queen of Swords, because he knows who he is. So he knows he can weather that storm. He walks into the storm, and guess what? He passes the storm a lot quicker by facing the storm, right? If we take the storm in resemblance of facing, our wounds, so we can reconcile with those wounds from the past. There's some past issues coming up. Past issues are going to come up, but we just have to heal them with love, right? Just love. So love yourself. Let the universe love you by letting the universe show you and bring to you all the gifts it wants to bring to you by, bringing the storm to take away what doesn't serve you. And sometimes healing comes from cleansing. Cleansing by letting go, by getting rid of toxins, negative, toxic energies, by just letting it go. We don't have to fight. We just have to stand in our power and love ourselves. And then this new love can come in. Our divine soulmate, twin flame. If you're not with your twin flame already, that can come in. So I love you all. Have a wonderful July. It's going to be amazing. And I feel that y'all are going to really have a blessed month. And it's going to be an amazing summer. And so have a good time. I was so happy to be able to bring you this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope some of it resonated. I hope I wasn't too bossy or spoke too fast. So I apologize for any of that. Thank you very much. Really have a blessed month. Have a really great beginning. A lot of new things are coming. E aloha, ke ka'i, ke kahi. Love one another. And I love y'all. Love from the universe. Be your best self. All right, aloha and welcome to the Mudra part of the reading. Today we're in front of the Halifax Convention Center, which is also the Rogers Square. And it's a perfect place because we're talking about the walk is all about that storm, that busy confusion and everything, but he's also about purifying and transformation as well as reuniting forces. So he's also the element of fire and storm coming together to create something new. All right, so the mudra is we're going to clasp our hands together and we're going to raise it up, and as we raise it up, we're going to take a big breath, make a sound to release and coming back as we return. And we're going to kind of like exaggerate that so that becomes like that releasing force, okay, that real forceful release and letting go and then reuniting. So the meditation and our saying is going to be, I am transforming and purifying myself, igniting my light body, healing all separation. Okay? So we'll begin. All right. I am purifying and transforming myself, igniting my light body, and healing all separation. I am transforming and purifying my body and igniting my light body, healing all separation.